Hey Virgo. Okay. So, all right, let's just get going. Work. Seven of Swords. My gosh, this card keeps coming up. And the Devil. Interesting. So, I feel like you're going to be dealing, not all of you, this is a general reading, but many of you are going to be dealing with sort of a negative, difficult person in your work environment. And um, I think the cards are cautioning you that, and I've had this happen to me. I don't know why, but I have had several extremely difficult bosses, and they've been women. I've also had a couple wonderful female bosses, but I had three in particular, and I allowed them. They were they just treated me really terrible. I worked for this one lady and I like ran her business so well. I mean, but she made a comment once. Well, if anything ever happened to me, I wouldn't have to worry about it because Jen has everything under control. Like she said it in such a way, it's like I was doing something wrong by running her business so well. It was very strange, but I allowed it those comments to really bother me and get me down and play on my inner demons, my inner fears and negativity. They really preyed somehow on my insecurities and my issues. I don't know how or if just when you're in an uncomfortable situation, it's easy to allow those worries and thoughts to come in. So if someone's behaving badly at work, it's just the Seven of Swords is always about making sure that you still conduct yourself with integrity and don't get drawn down to that level, and to really do a lot of self-protection work and to not allow it to take their bad behavior and somehow make it be a reflection of yourself. Okay, so work really hard on that because others' bad behavior shouldn't somehow make you feel bad. In the home, we have the Page of Swords. And believe this is the Knight of Pentacles, which means I read one of the cards wrong in one of the videos. That's okay. It was meant to be. So I believe this is the Knight in this deck. So in the home, okay, so we have a Page and a Knight. So communications, watching how we communicate. This is communications, messages, but it's also talks about how we communicate and learning to communicate effectively. And then the Knight of Pentacles, Knights are about change, and we want something to change in the home. Okay, we want to bring about some sort of change in home, health, work, even spirituality. But I'm going to focus more on the home aspect in this category. So I think some of you guys will need to communicate something. Maybe you want to move. Maybe you really want to, it could be as mundane as, you have this old stove and you feel like you can't cook in it, and it's every night you're trying to cook for your family or yourself, and it's just, it's being held together by duct tape or, whatever, the knobs are falling off, and you really are just like need to communicate that to your partner, or that, look, this needs to change. I mean, that's kind of a dumb example, but, or, something within your home environment is you want to bring about some sort of change. So at home, communication is really the key to uh, navigating any issues at home is really trying to have good communication. Um, and I think I'm going to leave it at that and keep going on, and we'll see how this comes back if it plays into other ones. In the relationship category, we have the Four of Cups. So the Four of Cups is just, you're just, it's not like you're miserable in your relationship, but it's like there's something missing. There's just something missing, and you're just like, you're not at the point where you're ready to walk away, but probably that's what you need to, something needs to change on some level. And it's like you're not quite ready to go there yet, but you're feeling blah and like things aren't working out already. And justice in relationships. So I feel that there's an imbalance in your relationships, and you're very just, you just don't really know what to do. It's like you're not crying, but you're never really happy either. And so I'm already relating this back to the home cards, and that something needs to change. You need to communicate that you feel that things are not right, things are off balance, things are not working out, that you're not happy, and that somehow something has got to shift before this progresses to, the Five of Cups or the Eight of Cups, where you're just, walking away. So there's a strong communication theme. Challenges. The Lovers making a choice. And the Knight of Swords. Change in thinking and communication. Okay, so yes, in order to get out of this Four of Cups and change things, you need to change how you communicate. You can't habitually just communicate how you always have been, because in order for things to change, you have to change yourself. And you can't keep doing the same thing over and over. And you need to make a choice. So this card is all about, it's not necessarily a huge choice, but the way I like to explain it is that, when you get married, this is the easiest example. You don't just say I do at the wedding and then like do whatever the hell you want. Like, you know what I mean? You have to honor that commitment. It's about how you honor your commitments by saying yes to that commitment all the time, every day, in many different little ways. Do you honor that commitment by coming home when you say you're going to, and if you're not, you call? Or do you just say, oh, she get mad, I'm just going to go out and not call. And then if you come home and your partner's upset, you're like, God, they're such jerks. Instead of just, either just going home, like, and honoring being with your partner, as opposed to making the choice to be with your friends, or making the choice to have good communication. Again, this communication is coming up. How are you honoring or not honoring your relationships with the choices you make and the way you interact? And that needs to change for things to improve and for balance to be restored. Sort of an overall outcome card is the Ace of Shields, new beginnings at home. Here we go. And the Three of Wands. Nice. I wonder if maybe you're going to get a new job. You're going to look for a new job. Or maybe your work situation is going to turn around and it's going to allow you to feel better. I'm wondering if this work situation is creeping into your personal life and maybe you're taking it out on other people in your life, and or you're just, when you're at home, you're just, out of sorts and not fun to be around because of this work situation. And are you going to choose to bring your work home and be miserable, or are you going to be present with your loved ones at home, or be positive in your personal life and be more, balanced in your relationship? How are you going to bring about more balance? And communication is a big part of it. Let's look at the bottom of the deck. So we have the Six of Cups, nostalgia, people coming back from the past. Remember, looking back at the past, we can either remember things as much better than it was. I love this card, by the way. This reminds me of my childhood so much, going down the swimming holes with friends. I just love it. But so often we can remember past situations as better than they actually were or worse than they actually were. So sometimes we can build up like, oh, I remember how great my old job was. But then when you really think back, you remember, well, actually, I did have that one coworker and my boss was always this, and maybe it wasn't as great as it seems, or vice versa. Maybe an old relationship you're remembering as better than it was. Okay. Or maybe you're just looking back on how things were. And that's sort of what this Four of Cups was. You had made this commitment. And here's the communication part coming up again. Okay, this is about compromise. You got to turn around and speak to each other and not just and try to figure out a solution to come together and really communicate. So it's going to be a challenge, but it's totally doable. And I think you are going to do it. And you are going to honor your commitments, or communicate that the other person needs to honor their commitments more in some relationship. Maybe it's work, actually, for a lot of you, since you have that Seven of Swords and the Devil, and saying, this needs to change because you're making, I don't want to come to work. And I'm not as productive if I'm feeling all this negative pressure. So I'm going to pull a Louise Hay Power Thought card. It says, I deserve the best and I accept the best now. It says, I am mentally and emotionally equipped to enjoy a prosperous and loving life. It is my birthright to deserve all good. I claim my good. So this to me relates to this Devil card. We're going to have some underlying doubts and insecurities creeping up this month while you're trying to make some changes or dealing with a situation. But you're going to call on your sword energy and your air, your being fair and just and communicating clearly and having this honest communication and being balanced in your decisions and honoring your commitments by making those choices and not being dragged down when other people are behaving badly, and still keeping your communication respectful and honest and above board, feeling much better at work and with new beginnings at home. So you're going to make some significant and important changes so thank you for watching. Bye.